ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our weekly health economics show. My name is Barbara, and today we have the topic why Americans pay more for healthcare. The United States spends $650 billion more on healthcare than might be expected given the country's wealth and the experience of comparable members of the OECD. Today I have invited some experts on this field. Now I will start with the first expert and his opinion, Mr. Tsai. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Barbara. A lot of people are suggesting this is the why Americans are paying more for their healthcare system is a natural phenomenon of the economic production. The production of healthcare in America could be a form of life expectancy, which is the most basic measure. Inputs of this production are composed of a vast and various factors such as number, quality, accessibility, and availability of care. In economic theory, the diminishing returns, which a lot of people are suggesting why the Americans are paying more but getting less, is because they have reached a point which is approximately age 70, where when additional resources does not provide the same additional benefits to the American populations. However, Americans are paying $650 billion more than its OECD peer countries. This may suggest the Americans are facing a very serious market failure problem.
Thank you, Mr. Tsai, for your insights. You mentioned something about market failures in the end. Let's see if someone of the experts can say something about this.
Yes, thank you. Another major cause of market failures is externalities. Suppose vaccinations against a cold are bought and sold in the US's free market. The price that you as an individual will pay for a vaccine depends on your personal value of the benefit you are getting out of this vaccine. To explain this on a graph, you have the demand curve that shows the market demand and the supply curve that shows the market supply, and you can see the equilibrium at P1 and Q1. The demand curve here also represents the marginal personal benefit that you as an individual are gaining from the vaccine. However, when you are vaccinated against a soaring cold, people also gain advantage from not catching a cold from you. This extra utility is foregone in a free health market. Going back to the graph again, the MSB represents the marginal social benefit, which are the benefits received by society. Here, societal costs are incurred from this foregone utility, which is represented by the cost triangle. This is what it would take to increase the demand and supply to enable society to benefit from this vaccination in the form of externalities. This example here shows you how a free market such as the US does not allow for many externalities and therefore leads to market.
Thank you, Ms. Assi, for your comments. Now I would like to add some about the pharmaceutical industry. The second largest category for expenditures has been prescription drugs, costing $98 billion. And reasons for this has been the high premium. Wealth enables more money to be spent on these superior economic goods. High US prices subsidizes R&D for the rest of the world. US companies spend more on marketing and sales than any other country. However, when examining these factors closely, they do not take into account the price gap between the US and other EU countries. So when looking at wealth, it was found that 30% should have been charged on branded drugs. However, 77% was being charged on small molecule drugs. And in 2006, the sales and marketing expenditures of the US pharma companies came to $30 to $40 billion. And of this, only 17 to 23% of the current US prices. This therefore illustrates the notion of market power, where there is imperfect competition. Goods are not being allocated in a Pareto efficient manner, and costs outweigh the benefits. So, Ms. Sukumaran, what's your ideas on government market failure?
Apart from the points you said regarding government intervention, the US government provides subsidies in the form of health insurance from private health insurance and state government. They also have a scheme for the elderly called the Medicare, which is provided by the federal government. But personally, for an individual, expenditure has not changed in the recent years. On the other hand, the government expenditure has been growing up from 25 to 50% in the recent years. Part of those charges are because of subsidizing R&D in the developing countries and on the premium they pay on the newer drugs. Along with this, they spend a huge amount of money on the administrative charges. Partly, I feel the reason the government is failing is because of their commercialization. There's a dominance of profit and for-profit organizations and pharmaceutical companies, along with a new wave of investor-owned hospitals. Resources are being allocated to profit opportunities rather than medical needs. The only way this can be improved is by focusing on a more population-based approach.
Thank you so far for all your insights on the topic market failures. Now, I still have the question, is it worth to spend so much money on healthcare? What do you think?
Hi, according to the accessibility to healthcare, which is unequal in the US, more than 45 million Americans lack insurance. Most uninsured Americans are working class persons whose employers do not provide health insurance and who do not earn enough to cover the cost of individual health insurance plan. The gap between the large spending of healthcare from the US government and the number of people who do not have health insurance or sufficient health services is increasing as the high and fast-growing cost of the health industry and the higher US drugs prices. This fact shows the lack of significant improvements for health equity. From my research, legislating laws by the government to require people to have health insurance is one of the solutions. However, from the debate of healthcare reform in the US, those possible solutions are still under furious arguments.
Thank you, speakers, for providing an insight on the topic why Americans pay more for healthcare. Now we all have to see if President Obama will change the overspending in healthcare and increase the efficiency. That's it for this week. Hope to see you all next week with a new interesting topic in health economics. Goodbye.